Poland is not waiting. While much of Europe debates, negotiates, and hesitates, Warsaw is writing checks and rolling tanks straight off the transport ships. In just a few years, Poland has transformed from a middling NATO member into one of the fastest-growing military powers on the continent. And that's why right now, everyone is watching Poland. To understand what's happening, you have to rewind just a bit. For most of the 20th century, Poland's military fate was written by others. Invaded by Germany, occupied by the Soviets, forced into the Warsaw Pact, it was a country always caught in the middle, rarely in control of its own defense. That changed in 1989, when Poland broke free of Soviet domination. By 1999, it was a NATO member, firmly tying its security to the West. But membership alone wasn't enough. For years, Poland remained under-equipped, relying on outdated Soviet-era hardware, while Western Europe slashed defense budgets in the name of peace dividends. Then came Russia's invasion of Ukraine. For Poland, this wasn't a distant crisis. It was a flashing red warning sign right on its doorstep. Overnight, the conversation shifted from cautious modernization to full-scale rearmament. And Poland did something few European nations dared. It opened its wallet wide and started buying serious firepower. The numbers are staggering. Poland is now spending well above NATO's 2% guideline, pushing toward levels usually seen only in frontline states like the US or Israel. Billions have been allocated to new tanks, artillery, aircraft, and missile systems. And unlike the endless debates in Berlin or Paris, Poland isn't dragging its feet. Contracts are signed, deliveries are arriving, and equipment is being fielded at record speed. Look at the arsenal Poland is building. From the United States, it has ordered Abrams tanks, Apache attack helicopters, and HIMARS rocket artillery, the same systems making headlines in Ukraine. From South Korea, Poland is buying hundreds of K2 Black Panther tanks and K9 howitzers, some already delivered. On top of that, Warsaw has secured F-35 stealth fighters, the most advanced aircraft in NATO's inventory, set to replace its aging fleet of MiGs and F-16. Piece by piece, Poland is assembling a modern combined arms force that can stand toe-to-toe with any military in Europe. And it's not just the equipment. Poland is massively expanding its manpower, aiming to grow its armed forces to around 300,000 personnel. That would make it one of the largest armies in NATO, larger than Britain's and nearly double Germany's current numbers. Recruiting campaigns are running hard, reserves are being strengthened, and new units are being formed specifically for border defense. In short, Poland is preparing not for a symbolic army, but for a force capable of fighting a large-scale, sustained conflict. This troop expansion ties into a larger cultural shift. Military service in Poland is no longer seen as a relic of the past. It's being reframed as patriotic duty. A new volunteer conscription scheme allows young Poles to serve for shorter periods while still training as a reserve. That way, Poland not only builds numbers, but also maintains a pool of trained citizens ready to be called up. It's an answer to the manpower problem that has plagued many European armies. Whether all these recruits stay motivated once they realize the army is less about Call of Duty and more about cleaning boots is another story, but the intent is clear. Poland's actions haven't been limited to buying weapons for itself. From the very first days of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Warsaw stepped up as one of Kyiv's strongest allies. It was among the first to send Soviet-era MiG-29 fighter jets, at a time when most of Europe was still arguing about escalation. It donated hundreds of tanks and armored vehicles, many pulled directly from its own active inventory. For Poland, supporting Ukraine wasn't charity, it was hard strategy. Every Russian tank destroyed in Donbass is one less that could someday roll toward Warsaw. That sense of urgency also shows up along Poland's borders. In response to migration pressure engineered by Belarus, Poland began fortifying its eastern frontier with fences, surveillance systems, and rapid deployment units. These weren't just political stunts, they were dry runs for what it means to secure NATO's edge against hybrid warfare. Poland has learned that the threat doesn't always arrive as a tank column. Sometimes it's disinformation, drones, or thousands of desperate people used as pawns to test defenses. Warsaw's answer has been to treat all of it seriously. Inside NATO, Poland's rise has changed the conversation. For years, alliance debates centered on who was meeting the 2% target. Poland blew past that and kept going. Today, it spends a higher share of GDP on defense than nearly any country in the alliance, outpacing not just Germany and France, but even the United Kingdom. That spending, combined with political will, has made Poland a go-to partner for Washington. When US officials look for a European ally willing to actually act, Poland is usually first on the list. This new role inevitably puts Poland in comparison with its neighbor and rival, Germany. For decades, Germany was considered NATO's heavyweight in Europe, even as its military atrophied into a hollow force. Poland has seized on that gap, presenting itself as the reliable partner that will do what others won't. While Berlin debates procurement laws and budget limits, Warsaw is stacking tank orders like shopping carts on Black Friday. The rivalry is real, and so is the question: who leads Europe militarily now, Berlin or Warsaw? But Poland isn't betting everything on foreign suppliers. Alongside imports, it's trying to rebuild its own defense industry. Polish factories are already assembling South Korean tanks under license, producing artillery shells, and investing heavily in drone development. This isn't just about pride. It's about ensuring that if a crisis cuts off supply chains, Poland can keep fighting. It also turns Warsaw into a regional arms hub, able to supply neighbors like Ukraine or the Baltic states. The buildup extends into missile defense and nuclear posture. Poland now hosts parts of NATO's ballistic missile defense shield, including US Aegis Ashore systems, making it a crucial node in protecting Europe against long-range threats. While Poland doesn't possess nuclear weapons, it has lobbied for closer integration with NATO's nuclear sharing arrangements, sending a clear signal to Moscow that escalation won't go unanswered. Of course, ambition comes with risks. Poland's economy is strong, but sustaining such a massive military buildup isn't cheap. Training, maintenance, and logistics are long-term challenges. Buying hundreds of tanks is one thing. Keeping them fueled, armed, and crewed is another. And then there's the question of political will. Right now, Poland's government is united on defense. But how will future leaders handle the strain of such a large military machine? It's a bet Poland seems willing to make, but it's a bet with high stakes. Still, the sheer scale of Poland's buildup has forced the rest of Europe to pay attention. When a country of 38 million suddenly fields one of the largest and best-equipped armies on the continent, the balance of power shifts, and it sends a message far beyond Warsaw. To Russia, it says, NATO's eastern flank is no longer soft. To Germany, it says, leadership in Europe is no longer yours by default. And to the rest of NATO, it says, the frontline states are ready to fight, whether or not the rear guard is prepared. This is why Poland matters right now. It isn't simply rearming for prestige. It's preparing for a future where deterrence might fail, where collective defense is more than a slogan, and where the price of hesitation could be national survival. Poland has no illusions about geography. It has been invaded before, occupied before, and betrayed before. That history explains why today it refuses to gamble. Everyone is watching Poland because, in a Europe still waking up to the reality of Russian aggression, Poland has already shifted into wartime gear. Whether this proves sustainable or not, one fact is clear. Poland is no longer a junior partner in NATO. It's a frontline fortress, a power broker, and potentially the most important piece on the European chessboard. The question that remains is not whether Poland can build this military. It already is. The question is how Europe will adapt to it. Will Warsaw's rise pull NATO eastward into a harder, sharper posture against Russia? Or will it leave Poland carrying a heavier burden than its allies are willing to share? Either way, Poland has made its choice, and that's why right now the world is watching.